Okay, so here I am. We're playing a little Horizon Zero Dawn. My name is Conscious3T. We're going to go ahead and work on taking out a few of the different machines here today, and show some pretty simple ways to do it. I've completed the game a couple of times. I have New Game Plus loaded. I have pretty much all of everything, all of the weapons, all of the armor, a couple of things I didn't bother getting yet, some things I need some like raccoon skins for and stuff like that, but it's freaking hard as hell to find raccoon skins. So, but I have pretty much everything. I'm pretty skilled at this game, and what I've done is I've put on some a little bit older armor. This is stuff you get kind of mid-game if you're working on it, but I can. So I'm a little, I've reduced my level, so to speak, with some weaker weapons and such, because the weapons I have are just too overpowered for a tutorial, I think. So I'm going to use some lower level weapons here, and we're going to start with these bird things, and I can't remember what they're called. Let's take a look at what they're called here. These are the I believe these are the lance horns. No, these are the Longlegs. Okay, so these are the Longlegs. So we have some information on the Longlegs here. We have their body construction. We have some of their strengths and weaknesses here. This is a very weak element of theirs, the concussion sac. So if we target this will, do a lot of damage to them. So we also have their alarm signal on the top of their head. So if you're fairly low level, if you don't have super powerful weapons, you might want to go for this first so they can't detect you, or signaling reinforcements. We got their power cell in the back. This is a sparker, so this can be disabled. This can actually, if you hit this with a spark arrow or a spark element, this will explode and shock them and do considerable damage. We have their wings. These are give them the charge attack, and the wings are vulnerable as well. If you hit these with a powerful enough shot, that'll do a fair amount of damage. So we're gonna do a little bit of strategy against these guys real quick here and see if we can't take them down pretty easily. A few different ways to do this. So we're gonna start with a simple way, just using some arrows. First we'll stealth attack them, and I'll show you what happens when we do that. Stealth attack. So let's do that. Alright, so I'm going to try to whistle one of them over, and it won't let me whistle. So let's see if I can navigate around to get near one through stealth. I'm wearing stealth weave armor here. This is the 3rd level stealth weave. There's 2 more, I believe, powerful stealth weaves in the game. I have them both, but they're really, more than necessary for this mission, so I'm going to start with this. See if I can get this guy stealthed out here. He's a little stuck in an animation, so should move nice and slow. See if we can get around the back of him. That guy almost saw me. I'm gonna silent strike this guy. It almost takes him out, right? Almost takes him out, so we're gonna go ahead and whack him one more time. He's down. And critical hit. I got little hit all those guys because I got alerted, so we can just escape a little here. So what we'll do is we will go for that concussion sac. If you have the ability to stack arrows, you might want to do that. I'll skip the stacking arrows part for now. You can also do this jump slow-mo thing. That's pretty cool. So if you stack an extra arrow, they got that sonic attack, so there, see, that concussion sac does a lot. So it shows you what happens with that. You can also do this now. We'll take a little run in, slide, whack them. One more whack. And that guy's out. Oh, we got a scrapper here with us too real quick, so we'll take advantage of this. Take out this guy. Hit him in the back. Now we'll hit this. And whack that guy. Whack him one more time. He's out. Alright, now let's take out this other scrapper guy. And hit him in there. Bada boom. Now we can hit him right there. And he's out. Alright, so let's collect up some stuff here, and we'll take out this last guy here. I really don't need to collect any resources, but... So let's take out this last long leg and maybe try a little bit of a different method on this guy. Let's see if we can blow up those spark canisters there. Oh, and we got some more friends that have come to meet us, so let's see if those guys will just pass. We will attend to the shell walkers and the stalkers in another episode. So let's let those guys kind of get by us so we don't alert them. They go on little convoys. So let's see here. Alright, so we got those wings, and on the back we got the power cells, right? If you leave your reticle here on the thing that you're scanning, it'll follow them around. If you just leave it locked on, if you want to do that. So, right? Okay, so let's get our shock arrows. So what I've done with this weapon here, if you can see, is I've ultra loaded it with freeze. So because freeze really is a highly effective tool for adding increased damage to your opponent. So I might even do that. Let's do a freeze them first. And again, if you can stack arrows, that's great if you're at that point. If you can't, you just have to, you know, try to take multiple hits. So let's freeze him. There we go, he's frozen. Now we're going to take our shock arrow. We're going to hit that component on the back. If we can get an angle on it. Alright. Yep. So there's the shock. Alright, now watch, that canister will explode. There, now he's taken down. You can go in and critical hit him. And that's that. Alright, so there we go with our long leg portion of our tutorial. Now we had those shell walkers down here, so let's go take a look at them. Let's go. Let's get a little health. Alright. So now we got shell walkers and a stalker or a watcher over there as well. Alright. So. Oh, and I got that icon. I forgot to take off my map there, so let's do that. I forgot about that. Let's deselect that. There we go. So it's less distracting. Okay. So, let's take out these guys. Now, again, we're going to try to focus on being a little stealthy with our actions here. A great way to start with these guys is you could do a lot of damage by taking out these right on their back here, these crate holder things here. So first we're going to take out that watcher, just so he doesn't give us any shit while we're doing this. So all you need is one little regular arrow right in the eye. If you don't haven't figured that out yet, that takes those guys out. And now I have these hard point arrows. I got a little bit of handling loaded on here. I got little bit of damage loaded on here, and just a little bit of extra, what do you call it there, tear. So we're going to use those arrows because they're going to tear a little bit, but they're going to do a fair amount of damage. So let's see if we can just pop this guy. There we go. That's a lot of damage.
Now what?
So these guys also will, they have some pretty severe attacks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take off his shield generator. There we go. With our, if you saw that, I got my Tear Blast arrow. That really hinders what he can do to me. So I'm gonna also go ahead and light this guy on fire. I'll show you how effective that is. There we go, he's on fire. You can kind of just wait that out a little bit. Does a lot of damage. And your arrows will do more damage. I got one arrow loaded. Alright. So that's pretty simple. So you can do that approach or something similar, right? So they also have some more vulnerable spots. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for the underbelly here. See if we can get it in one shot from stealth. They have a power cell on the bottom. See that lighting up down there. So we're going to see if we can access that. I'm going to load up an extra couple of arrows. Again, if you don't have the ability to load arrows yet, that's alright. You'll just have to take a few extra hits. So, but this will do a lot of damage if we can hit it. So, alright. So,
Go quietly.
we didn't quite get his power cell exactly right, but that's alright. You saw how much damage that did. So now we're going to go ahead and... Oh. Whoop. We're just going to pop him. There, you can see he's got that claw holding up the crate. Pop that a couple of times. So you got a shield generator.
Right on target.
There. So, but you can see the very vulnerable spots they have there. And all these battles, they're not going to go perfect every time. Unexpected stuff happens, right? So you just kind of got to roll with the punches, and so to speak. I also recommend, if you are playing on a harder level, on a harder difficulty setting, and you're and you haven't maxed out your skills yet, you haven't, you haven't completely, fully developed your character yet, like developed Aloy yet, that you go ahead and work on getting those arrow capacities up a little bit. Though you can craft on the fly, that's always good. If you get your capacity up when you get into those tougher battles, when it takes a whole lot more arrows to take down some opponents that you're not so familiar with, if you have a lot in reserve before you have to craft, that'll help you out. But again, you can craft them on the fly, so if you have resources, you're all good. Alright, so let's go ahead and find something else to kill. Let's do another, medium to low level enemy here. I know it. Let's see. This might be a good spot. Let's go over here. I think there's a sawtooth over here. I think right over here. Okay, so I have fast traveled to this zone that has some corrupted enemies. These are not super high level corrupted enemies here. We got some watchers. We got a whole bunch of watchers here. Corrupted red eye watchers. So we're gonna take these guys out, and the best and easiest way to do this is either to stealth them or use fire. So we're gonna go ahead and mark this guy's path. And head over to that guy. Skirt around. I'm still using this stealth armor, weave here. Stealth armor, because I like to do a lot of sneaking around. And this just makes it easier. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a fire trap here. Put a couple of different fire elements here. Sneak away, sneak away. That guy sees us, so we're gonna run around and hide a little.
Calm, calm.
Walk down. Let's get this guy's path. So yeah, you can go ahead and use the element of stealth here. And the watchers, you know, they alert each other and stuff, so if you don't want to get into a big fight, these guys aren't too hard to take out if you do, but if you don't want to, you know, stay out of sight and, you know, use some stealth to get these guys. So we're gonna fire this guy up again.
Let's make this quick.
There's one. Let's go hide. That guy's on fire. Now let's hide a little bit more. Walk over here. So you can play this like kind of slow game with these guys if you want. Set some traps, stuff like that. Or here, let's light this guy up again. Right? He's on fire. There's some other guys on fire. They're coming after me. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you can stay hidden. So we're gonna try to get some distance here, stay a little hidden. Oh, we can snipe him out with some fire. He's dead. Again, being able to load multiple arrows is great. I recommend that skill highly. And these corrupted machines are very susceptible to fire. So that's great. And now if you want to speed up the process, you know, these guys are still vulnerable in their eyes, but they don't go down in one shot every time by shooting them in the eye. But they are still vulnerable there. So we got a couple more here. Let's see if we can poke this guy in the eye. Oh, we missed. Yeah, I didn't do that perfectly. Let's light him on fire again. Alright, see, they're not super strong, so I can just whack them if I need to as well. Yep. He's not gonna make it. Okay, so that wasn't the cleanest run on those guys, but they're not super tough. You just kind of gotta be careful and strategic with them. That was a corrupted zone of watchers. Nothing crazy. So it showed you a couple of different techniques. If you know, not everything always goes perfectly. I wasn't exactly trying to be perfect on that. You know what I mean? So this area is just kind of cool. I just like this area. There's just a lot of cool stuff going on here. Look at all this stuff. This is just cool. That's like some kind of old downtown brick building. Okay. Alright. So what else can we attack? Let's go get a... Oh, here we go. Here is a sawtooth, a corrupted sawtooth, which should be fun. So let's hide in some bushes here. I'll show you a couple of different ways to mess with these guys. So let's take a look at the notebook and look at the machine catalog. So corrupted animals are there's nothing special about them other than the fact they're a little bit stronger and they hate fire. So we got a sawtooth. Where's the sawtooth? That's a scrapper, trampler, sawtooth. Okay. So obviously weak to fire, right? So we got a blaze canister as well underneath its belly. If you want to try to go for that, feel free. It's a little more trouble than it's worth, I think, though most of the time I wouldn't really mess with it. It's not a big deal. Alright, so that's their body's weak to fire. They got a blaze canister underneath. I'm gonna point out a couple of extra weak spots that'll cause some damage as well. So you got on their back, it doesn't light up, but on their back there's a little power cell and there's that antenna. So you can take those out as well. And again, if you want to stay stealthy, let's just get his path here, right? So now we know where he's walking around. See, this path thing is a great tool. If you want to use it. You know, sometimes I feel like going a little harder and heavier. Again, we can use some fire here because they're susceptible to fire. If you want to stay in the stealthy, you know, stay stealthy about it, we can just set little traps around some tripwire, and that'll give this guy a lot of trouble. Whoops. Alright, so you can do that. He's gonna walk over there in a sec and he's gonna get hurt. So again, you can also use your fire arrows.
You're not gonna like this.
They just don't like fire, man. They just don't like fire. Fire really causes a lot of damage on these guys. And I'm gonna show you something else. When you silent strike them, see if I can get close enough to silent strike. Nope, not yet. Wait for him to turn around. Okay, so when you silent strike these guys, they go down for a second. So that gives you a chance to scuttle away a little. Yeah, that was a bad roll. My bad. Alright, see, he's losing a ton of power there. Right? So now we can... Another technique that is great for a lot of these enemies is the run, slide, and jump. Kind of gets you away quick. Right? But that, all I need is to do one extra whack with my spear here, because that fire does so much damage. Right?
Flare apart.
So that's a good way to approach those guys, especially if they're just single, you know, if they're just alone. Which makes me think maybe we should do like a group battle here. Maybe we should fight multiple enemies.
Never know when I might need these.
Let's do that. Let's see if we can fight multiple enemies. Let's go to a zone where I know there's some multiples. Yeah, this is not really a structured run here. This is just kind of like... Oh, you know what? Is there... I think there is a Thunderjaw over here. So let's go over here. I think there's a Thunderjaw there. So let's do the fast travel thingy there. Alright, so we're back. So let's take a look around here a little bit. There's some Longlegs. Okay, so I think we got a, I think by this hunting grounds is a Thunderjaw, if I remember correctly. Again, this is not very structured here. Really not very structured. This is my first time ever doing one of these playthrough videos, sort of a tutorial, I guess. So this is just kind of like going with the flow here, showing some techniques. Alright, so this is not Thunderjaw, this is some tramplers. And then in this area there are also the what do you call them there, the Glinthawks. So they might try to mess with us too, but we're gonna mess with these tramplers here. And I'm gonna show you a couple of weak spots these guys have. So up on their backs here, they got a bunch of power cells. If you take those out, that causes a lot of damage. Alright, so my video just cut out, and I started to start another clip, so hopefully it worked out. But yeah, so they got their horns, and they have that concussion sac type of deal, the processing unit under their belly. So these guys can cause a lot of damage. They can be tough customers, but they can also be a piece of cake if you know how to deal with them. So a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to go for this tried and true method. Again, these freeze arrows are your friends. Absolutely they are. They just make taking these guys out so much easier. You just get so much more damage. So now we're going to use these, you know, tear blast arrows and take off some of its tougher components here. There, so we got a lot of that off. Now we're going to go to my, my damage arrows here. And I'm going to take out his underbelly, and maybe... Oh, I'm in a wall. I'm in a wall. Stuck in a wall. Stuck in a wall. Not bad. Alright, there's some health. Okay. So, yeah. Alright. So let's take out... Alright, see, they don't like to fight either. They like to run away. Let's freeze this guy again. Alright. We can take out that underbelly. Tons of damage. The horn, that guy's out. Okay, so we can also do this. I'm going to go ahead and switch out a weapon, and I'm going to go with the rope caster. Alright. Now we're going to tie this guy down. Oop. guy's tied down, I can go and focus on this other guy and freeze him. Oh, that's not freeze. Freeze that guy, and now we can hit these power cells right on his back. Oh, and he also got caught on fire. Those stormbirds catching on fire. So anyway, I've obviously fired a ton of damage. That guy's out. So that's their vulnerable areas. We'll get to those those flint hawks in a minute. Right now, we're gonna go ahead and freeze this guy. Alright, and we will go ahead and take out with the shock arrow. Oh, gotta get a better angle. We'll use the shock arrow and take out those cells on the top. That's gonna cause a ton of damage. Yep. Knock him out. Now we can hit that underbelly. Top bluey. He's on fire. And that'll take him out. So now we'll take out these glint hawks. These guys are annoying, but they're not a huge deal. If you know what you're doing. So you got your run and slide and jump. Create a little distance. They got their freeze breath here, so you're just gonna knock them out of the sky with some fire arrows. And then you can one critical hit him usually. That's not a big deal. Let's get this guy. Oh, he's a little far away. Let's focus back on this guy. So, now that he's down, what you can do is try to go for his belly here, where that freeze sack is. And if you can get them before they take off in the air again, that's really ideal. So, I didn't quite nail that one. So, yeah, here we go. Now they're eating again. If you can get that freeze sack, that'll cause a lot of damage. There we go. Alright, so now got a couple more to knock out of the sky again here. And the fire arrows do that great job of that. There we go. They like to hover over you, so it's hard to get a good angle on them sometimes. But and I'm playing on hard difficulty, which is not insanely hard, but just so you know, that's the level I'm playing on, which is not an impossible difficulty at all. There, got his free sack. He's out. So, you know, again, this is really on the fly here. I didn't like practice this beforehand or script it or anything like that. You know, I'm just showing you, like, without a ton of health or anything. I mean, I messed up a couple of times, but you can take these, you know, if you're strategic. These kind of situations don't have to be very stressful, you know. And look at all this great stuff we get from these guys. I'm kind of loaded loaded up on my inventory right now anyway. So, okay, I think that's probably enough for today. So for my first run, my first attempt at a YouTube gaming video of all time, like and subscribe. This is Conscious KP, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Okay, here's a good situation where we have an edit, actually. I picked this up after playing a little while after I thought I ended the video. But we have a few different types of machines here, all together. We got a couple of snapmaws, 3, and we have a sawtooth right behind that snapmaw there. So, we're gonna try something crazy here. I'm gonna try to hit that free sack underneath this snapmaw and see if I can pull it off from here. Actually, I think I need to hit it with this guy here, see if I can get in there. So now I got it. So now I can freely explode the hell out of these guys with these hard point arrows and just destroy them. So I have switched to my more high power weapons here because I thought my gameplay was over, but it wasn't. So you're seeing me with a little more high power than I had before, which is why those guys are so easy. But as you can see, I didn't jump fast enough, buddy. There, he's dead. Okay. As you get later in game, your weaponry becomes quite powerful, especially if you have the right mods. And I have some pretty powerful mods on these arrows. So he's not frozen, obviously, so it takes more hits. But if you stay stealthy and plan your attack correctly, that was the whole point of that, you can really give yourself an advantage. So from back there, I sat in the bush and took a look at an open opportunity to hit a weak point, which I did, and I was able to freeze multiple enemies at once, which made that a hell of a lot easier to do. So that's that, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.